An explosion of ZK apps really means to go from nothing to a robust ecosystem of applications, users, infrastructure, a thriving place where there's lots of different things happening. And we use the analogy of the Cambrian explosion specifically because no one really knows exactly how we went from no living organisms, aka rocks, to living and breathing organisms. And what we do know, it was a combination of many different factors in concert with one another that kind of caused this boom of life. And we use that same analogy here because it's not one project or two projects or three projects all working in isolation. It's a multitude of people and ideas coming together to bounce off one another, and ultimately, like, it has to happen in that kind of like test tube format. It can't happen in the way that a traditional company would start, or a traditional, like even a traditional venture firm might operate, because we're still so early in the way that the technology is being developed, the way that the use cases are being explored. And all of you bring your own kind of experience and your own perspective to what should happen in the way things should get built, everything from how things get prioritized to the architecture that gets chosen. That has to happen from a collective effort. And if it doesn't, then the Mina ecosystem, as we know, it won't. It can't survive. It has to really happen from this high trust, high collaborative environment. So Cambrian explosion has kind of been our tagline, and then this for cohort 2, if you've been paying attention, we've kind of also picked up the term Scenius, which in some words means, or with the term was coined by Kevin Kelly in 2008. And there's a blog post which is really interesting, but you can kind of think about it as communal genius. It's the idea that the best ideas don't come from lone geniuses; they come from a tight-knit group of highly enthusiastic, highly experienced, highly technical people working in close collaboration with one another in a high trust environment. And there's many examples in history of this working well, both within companies or within locations. And now that we're working on distributed systems as an overall goal, we all are distributed. Some of us are anonymous. Some of us are don't speak the same language, but there is the language of ONJS, which has been recently named from Snarky.js, and there is the language of the community of Mina Protocol and the ethos that it holds around what you can build and why you would build on Mina, that's tying us all together. And so zkIgnite is designed to capture this energy and to capture exactly this idea that each one of you is bringing your very, very, very specific experience from either specific industry or cryptography or something coming from like another ecosystem that you want to bring to the Mina ecosystem. But because the information is quite spread out at the moment, and ONJS is constantly being developed and new things are becoming possible, and things are also breaking regularly, the only way to kind of succeed at this stage is to really share information, form teams, share ideas, give rapid feedback, and ultimately develop at a very, very fast pace so that we can kind of, create that Cambrian explosion. Another kind of idea around like the why behind zkIgnite compared to traditional accelerator programs is we're kind of exploring the idea formation space. So with more traditional accelerators or incubators, you come in, you apply with a very, very common idea or your very specific idea, you get told yes or no, and you go off and you build, or you get rejected. In this case, the reason why we have zkIgnite for 2 months is, ahead of the deadline, is so that there's an opportunity to work with one another very, very closely and to give feedback to one another. And ultimately, it is, the people on this call who are making the funding decisions. The end users are the same people in the community. And so it's by design that we're trying to create this environment, because it is so early. And hopefully, if we're successful over a number of cohorts, we can move into those other forms of innovation similar to like more startup or venture based models. But right now, when it's this early, we really need to focus on the idea formation space. And I'm really pleased to say that from cohort 1, we've seen this happen. We've seen teams be formed from maybe one person got funded and they went and they recruited some of the people that they had engaged with the most during the feedback phase, and then they recruited them to build the project. So I'm thinking of, like, for example, zk database is a great example from Cohort 1, who Chiro, who leads the Orochi network team, they had gotten funded, and then he recruited 3 other people through Cohort 1 to join their team, and then they've been successfully building for the past 3 months. Another example is Protokit, who is building an application chain framework on Mina. They one started off as an off-chain storage solution. Another project started off as a layer 2 rollup, and they decided to form teams after the funding deadline based off of their unique experience and the benefits that they could have from joining forces and accelerating the speed of development by bringing these kind of like 2 separate pieces together. And there's many other examples. And so I know we want to get to the announcement, but I really can't emphasize enough that this is not the end. There's been a lot of time and investment. If you've kind of gone through the entire process, you've put a lot of energy into engaging with other people as part of this. And we would really encourage you, if you haven't gotten funded, to approach some of the teams that have gotten funded and potentially, offer your support, or maybe, there's an opportunity to join the team more formally in terms of taking on a co-founder or an employment role. And I'll also say, on this next slide here, everything that we're working on right now is kind of connected. So this slide is intentionally supposed to be messy, but it's also kind of a snapshot of everything that's going on. So we have Cohort 1 funded projects. You'll soon see an RFP process related to like core developer graps that will also be like a new grants program that we're rolling out quite soon. We have Cohort 2 funded projects that are kicking off. A lot of the Cohort 2 projects will be looking for team members. You can apply directly to work with them via the zkIgnite platform, or you can just reach out to them on Discord. We're going to be, announcing, well, keep an eye out for Cohort 3 announcement very soon. From there, we will need electors. We will also be looking for, a new set of proposals. You'll see today that there's some proposals that didn't get funded through Cohort 1 that did get funded through Cohort 2. So there's this steady drumbeat of activity to keep kind of people building across the Mina ecosystem. We have incentivized testnet coming up. We had a call last week to talk about the road to mainnet, ZK apps on mainnet. And there's a whole incentivized testnet program related to that, and that is more related to node operators and validators in the Mina community. We have zkIgnite mentors, which Janae will talk about a little bit later. And then we're also going to be rolling out a developer advocate program, which is called Mina Navigators. And so that's another thing where a small subset of people will have the ability to kind of roll into more community-led developer advocates and lend their efforts towards this. Again, it's a messy slide, but the main point here is that there's so many different things going on. And so for everyone who didn't get funded today, there's many, many opportunities. If you're here to say, and you're serious, talk to us, and we'll find a way to get you involved. We've done that for the past cohort, and ultimately our success depends not just on zkIgnite as a funding stream, but really a mechanism to create Scenius, which it always feels a little weird to say, but I also like it. Okay, so that's that. On to Cohort 2 metrics, and then we'll go straight to the funded projects. So ideas and insights. During the kind of forum phase, we had 171 unique ideas and insights for Cohort 2 alone, which was amazing. We had 86 proposals, which is a ton, and we had 1,980 comments on the platform so far. So that is a serious feat regardless, and I think speaks volumes to this idea that it's not just a traditional submit a proposal, yes, no, get funding, yes or no. Hopefully everyone throughout this process has received some feedback and has engaged on the platform in this way, and that's exactly what we've decided to do. Want to just also give a shout out to all of the top commenters. Top of the leaderboard, we have Sid, we have Mario, we have Carbonara, we have Robin, we have Jonas, we have Laurie, we have I am Dev, Gurkek, sorry, I mispronounced it. We have PHN2211, and then we have Vadim as well. there's many, 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 many more people who didn't list. We just kind of pulled the top just from the direct export from the platform, and really want to just say thank you to everybody again who's put the time in to give feedback to the proposals. It's really hard at this stage when people don't get funding, and we saw this from Cohort 1 and kind of like wonder, why didn't I get funding, or why didn't the electors like my proposal? The feedback stage is imperfect because it's before, but it is designed exactly so that there aren't any surprises. Again, not completely conclusive, but I think it's a core part of why zkIgnite works, and it also hopefully will give people the opportunity to then meet each other after today as well. Okay, and so projects funded. So we have 14 dev tooling projects and 10 zk app projects that are getting funded today, or that will be funded as a result of Cohort 2. The average funded project budget is 20,615 USDC, and there is a pending Mina grant that is proportional to the average fund budget. We'll send that in the spreadsheet. We already have that calculated. We'll send that afterwards. And then, as you may recall, we have a standard budget and an advanced budget. So 5 projects hit their advanced budget and 19 hit their standard budget. And finally, before we get into the project announcement itself, we just want to say thank you again to all of the electors who now get to rest a little bit. Behind the scenes, the way that it works is we have 2 separate elector channels on Discord. One of them is for the zk app track. One of them is for the dev tooling track. We have 15 electors per group, and the electors over the past 2 weeks have been voting, first scoring, then voting on each proposal. It's really tough to be an elector. Many of the electors are on this call. Many of you who are proposers are also electors. And there's no perfect way, because when you have so many good, high quality proposals and so many new ideas, it's really challenging to figure out how to distribute that. And on top of that, when you have 15 people all trying to coordinate, each with $16,667 to allocate on the platform, it becomes quite intense. We added scoring this time to try to provide much more standardization, so that every proposal was given a score by 3 electors. The electors then looked at a whole spreadsheet of scores and then still voted, on their own. So not just by the voting, not just by the scoring, but actually by reading through each proposal, blocking off, whole days to review and make sure that their bets were the best that they could be, and putting on kind of their community, but also their investor hat. And because we left the criteria fairly open at this time, which is one of the things we're going to survey for afterwards to evolve the criteria, it places a lot of pressure on electors personally to try to interpret what does impact mean, what does scalability mean, what does team mean, and there is no perfect way. So, we just want to say thank you again to all of the electors who've really invested their time into this process, and we look forward to kind of evolving the elector mechanisms in the future as well. Okay, so next we're just going to read off the project name slide by slide. We're going to keep it very high level because we have a lot to get through, and because all of this will be available afterwards for you to click into and read to. Just as another disclaimer, we've recorded the exact process by which we have calculated the results, and after this call, we will share that on the Discord. We will also share the spreadsheet that has all of the proposals, and it has the separate tabs for the ones that have gotten funding, and then you can also see the mechanisms for how we voted, how things were raised. After doing 2 cohorts, we've kind of realized that the $5,000 threshold for the priority list and the surplus mechanism, it's complicated. At the same time, when you have 15 different people voting and you have meetings to try to, deliberation meetings that are live to try to agree on which project should be funded, what we've learned is there isn't an easy way for everyone to agree. And if people disagree, that's okay too. And so that means you need some sort of a mechanism outside of just agreement and on a call or multiple rounds of voting to get down to a final list, because votes are constantly changing. And if you have 15 people, then it will continue to change, probably, unless we do, weeks and weeks of voting. So we are going to probably rethink the mechanism. There were some very close calls this time of people who didn't get funding just by technicalities. There are some people who did get funding just by technicalities, but if we switch the rules, those roles would have been switched as well. And so there is no perfect way. We've stuck exactly to the process as we have said we are going to. It's all by math. There is no exceptions made based off of people or participation or anything like that. It's all done just by the math and the rules that we set out. And then after this, we will think about how to evolve it in the future, if there is a better way. And we're going to send out a survey to everybody to ask for suggestions, not just on this, but the whole program as a whole. So I think it's a really important disclaimer. And I want to get to it now, because when we celebrate the projects, it's also really exciting around what's gotten funding, and everyone should be quite proud if they're in that category, because they've earned it as well. Okay, so Yasin, myself, and Janae are just going to alternate as we go through this. We're going to start with the developer tooling and infrastructure projects, and then we'll move on to the zk app projects. And like I said, afterwards, we'll post everything in the Discord, and we will get going. So here we go. Okay, yes, thank you, Janae. Janae added a very nice meme: project without funding, projects with funding. There's many opportunities to join. And if the teams are asking, if each team is bringing on people, you'll be able to apply via the platform. Okay, so the first project that is funded is the Mina Playground improvements and new features. Mina Playground was funded through Cohort 1. They are a testing environment where you can follow tutorials, run zk apps, deploy smart contracts directly in the browser. I kind of think about this as like a replit for Mina. And now 2830 has been working on this really hard, and was working on this through Cohort 1 as well.
Okay, so the second one is zk Notary. And this is a zk Oracle powered by TLS Notary from Rafael, who is also funded in the Cohort 1. And this time, they'll be building zk Notary, which will enable anyone to create cryptographic proofs of authenticity, which will prove that like some data accessed via TLS generally originated from a specific REST API. I think that this will provide the Mina community with a very powerful cryptographic primitive that will open the door to countless applications in the zk and Mina space.
All right, next we have Ikwan with Snarky ML. Snarky ML will enable O1JS with machine learning capabilities. Libraries will simplify the development of on-chain models within the Mina ecosystem. And Snarky ML will build some of the templates and translators for representative ML models, making it easier for devs to customize their own ML models. So congrats. Week one.
Fantastic. Next, we have zk Credential, which is a working protocol, or aims to create a working protocol of zero disclosure verifiable credentials. And this is another interesting one, because there's a few people who are also working on this in the Mina ecosystem. I can think of a few projects from Cohort 1. I can also think of some other projects that have been granted previously through Mina Foundation. And this is a good example of I really want to test the case of Senius here around how we can kind of work together to make sure that I'm not going to pronounce the Discord correctly, but that we can kind of like use each one of these projects as building blocks for one another, potentially combine them, but also exist to push each other forward.
Yeah, actually, as like from the Cohort 1, there were lots of public goods or developer tooling, which is making developers' life a lot easier. In this cohort, we also see some content which will make like a great impact on the ecosystem. And one of these are educational video series and podcasts from community from Turkey, which is Gerçek Cryptocu has been while in our ecosystem. And the goal of this project is actually to inform anyone, like technical or non-technical, like who is curious about Mina Protocol, and they want to inform them and like provide content effectively through 4 or 5 videos or like podcast episodes every month. And their motivation is really to provide any kind of details about Mina Protocol. And we are sure we'll see lots of great content from this project.
Yeah, another awesome, thing built or going to be built for the ecosystem will be Mina ecosystem. This is going to be a one-stop shop for all things developer related and for onboarding on Mina. And I think this is really incredible because from the beginning that I've been at Mina, we've always wanted some sort of specific onboarding journey that will be great for people who aren't familiar with the development of ZK apps. So congratulations to Somay.
Great. And the next one is Shinky3681, who will be building key features set for ERC 20, 721, 1155 like standard. And this is, I think, very timely as we have a few proposals out already in the community to build on top of. So such as the fundables token standard. So I think this is another good example of electors know that this is a priority and want to kind of like really focus on making sure this gets someone working on it full-time over the next few months.
And the next one is actually ZK apps or ecosystem hub, and including ZK app testing groups. And this is the directory for all ZK applications like devs, ecosystem partners, like long-term infrastructure and tooling. So actually, this is a one-stop place to see what's happening on Mina Protocol and the ecosystem, and this will provide all the like improvements or like applications get built on Mina Protocol. So congrats Flash to Fashion, which is the Mina community on Twitter, and we're really excited to see what's going to happen.
Awesome. So right here we have a product from Carbonara, and this will be the ZK App Store. So imagine it as a ZK App Store, an Apple, like an app store for ZK apps for Mina. And this is really exciting because we'll be able to showcase ZK apps, explain them, and people from alternative places can come and see what's cooking, what's going on in the ecosystem. So congrats, Carbonara.
Fantastic. Next one, we have a decentralized credit protocol from Siang 7670 called PADO, P-A-D-O. And this is based on the interactive IZK technique in the Mina ZK app toolkit. So this is a new one that we haven't seen, a new use case that we haven't seen yet that I think it's talked a lot about, and having someone working on it directly on Mina as a ZK app will be really, really useful, and also can potentially plug into some of the decentralized exchange work that's happening across the Mina ecosystem as well. Starting to see some nice opportunities for overlap here.
Okay, let's welcome our AI friend, and he's called ZK App Umstadt. So this is an AI agent for ZK app builders, and actually this project will focus on different areas, unlike existing chatbots, which are like comprehensive expertise in ZK apps and the architecture, O1GS, like the Mina protocol itself, smart contracts, or ZKPs and anything. And actually, they will try to do it on a web application, and their focus is actually help developers daily with like daily questions, like any kind of errors and project ideas. Actually, it will be very interesting to see this kind of friend will help new developers onboarding and also building new applications. And yeah, let's congratulate Berkin for this project.
Awesome. So our next project is Doot, and it's enhancing the current Oracle model to bring trustworthy, verifiable, and SnarkyJS compatible data feeds to the Mina ecosystem. I just want to say that the name Dude is incredible. I had to look it up and I was like, oh, this is the best name for an oracle, basically a messenger. So congratulations to, let's see, 8.0794E.
Thanks. And again, I think this is another really good example of we have some authentication projects in the works. We also have the TLS Notary project. So I'm excited to see if there's opportunities to collaborate here. And right on cue, we have zk Mina auth, zk proof based auth, which again will focus on the authentication layer between Mina and other oracles, or sorry, the authentication layer to be able to verify data, bringing data onto Mina, and also as a identity primitive. So this is another one I think, like I'm thinking like right off the bat. Zen from Cohort 1 and zk Humans is working on something quite similar. And I'm hopeful that over time we can figure out ways to share and uniquely improve each other's projects. And congratulations to Borja.
Okay, this is Easy Mina 2.0, which is very familiar from Cohort 1. And Andreas has been really focusing on helping the new zk developers and also people who are turning into Web3 developers from Web2. And this product has been already making starting out smooth and like help people dive into the ecosystem without the fuss. And there, if you go to their proposal, you will see like the exact improvements, but like this is actually this aims to make Easy Mina even more better and make them simple. And so yeah, congratulations, Andreas, for the second version.
Okay. So that was it for the dev tooling projects. Again, there was many really good ideas, and there was not an easy decisions for the electors. But we just want to say thank you again to everybody who participated. Now on to zk apps. Janae, am I starting or are you?
You're starting, Will.
Okay. Mac. So Mac is a zk app that makes simple zk apps useful for regular people. And basically a zk app to create other zk apps, which I think is really interesting, especially as more and more people join the Mina ecosystem with all different levels of developer skills. So this, I think, not only is interesting for being able to build a useful app with relatively low overhead, but I think it's also really interesting just as a educational tool for other developers in the ecosystem too. So congratulations to Mark, and excited to see the development on this move forward.
Okay, this project is focused on the identity space and from Ridas, and this is called zk Smart ID, which actually like it joined the forces like of smart contracts with the personal identification data, and actually how they aim to depart like from mere proof of concept proposals, and actually this project again bringing together these real world personal identification data with smart contracts. And how they make this possible is actually the answer relies on a combination of oracles, which is again, I think there's lots of opportunity to collaborate with other oracle projects, and like smart ID application, and how writers call it the most popular online authentication mobile application in the Baltic states. And congratulations, Raidas.
Awesome. So next we have sealed bid auctions by the Dude. And the aim of this is going to be a platform to host sealed bid auctions and in a secure and trustless way. So helping to create auctioning abilities through the platform is going to be incredible. And yeah, we're excited to see.
Thanks, Janae. And I think I want to call out, I believe this was one of the projects that was very close to getting funding as part of Cohort 1, and has stuck around and the Dude has been very active through Cohort 1 to Cohort 2. So I think this is for me, this one stands out as something to kind of like, for anybody who might not have gotten funding this time, to stick with it if you believe in your idea and really want to build. Okay. The next one is IZI Swap, which is a on-chain order book DEX driven by Izumi's DLAMM and peer-to-pool order book design on Mina. So there's a few different DEXs that are currently being developed, and I think this is another unique approach that will improve the user experience for people coming on in the soon-to-be robust Mina DeFi ecosystem on Mina, with many other primitives, including things on this list that we also need to do first. So I think this is another good example of this is going to be directly dependent on the privacy token on Mina proposal, which will also be directly dependent on the token original work that's been done on the token standard outside of zkIgnite and how it's all interconnected. So really excited to see this one develop and focus on the DeFi ecosystem that we're also building.
Okay, let's go into social media, and this is called like an auditable social media, and I think this is very interesting because it makes us break free from like obstacle algorithms, and we'll see no more shadow banning or manipulation of the content we see, which while like these people who have the power to boost their narratives, and with this application, actually with the social media, we'll have experience in our way, and we'll be able to customize the criteria for the content we see, and also we'll get the peace of mind and like finally that our criteria will be honored and true cryptographic proofs using the magic of ZKPs.
Okay, ZK Locus. So ZK Snarks powered a geolocation privacy service. So ZK Locus aims to enable users to authenticate their geographical location with service providers while preserving their privacy. And basically, I saw this, I was like, this is gonna be incredible. A game changer, I thought. So congratulations. Oh yeah, Poppy.
Nice. And congratulations to Doka and the StakeTab Armina team. This has been a much discussed proposal across the Elector group, Mina Liquid staking, which is another primitive that potentially could really benefit all stakers across the Mina ecosystem, and doing it kind of in a Mina native way. The StakeTab team has built other things, like many other things in the past. Right now, they manage Mina, which is one of the main explorers that folks use in the ecosystem. So there's a lot to build here. This was also the highest funded project at 60,000 USDC, and this was also the highest elector vote at 49,000 or almost 50,000 USDC. So congratulations to the team. This is a big one, and really excited to see what this unlocks across the ecosystem.
Okay. Let's continue with another like a funding like area, and like what's happening. It's here we see on-chain funding platform focused on helping builders and investors. And their vision is actually to bring funding workflows such as grants or accelerators or any kind of like financial investments here on chain for better transparency, and also doing it by like lowering the risks for both investors and builders. So actually they're here utilizing ZKPs and the privacy preserving nature of the Mina blockchain so that they can provide an innovative solution that allows investors to protect their privacy while actually engaging in the funding and decision making process. So yeah, congratulations to the team that have been made this proposal.
And this one's, oh, sorry, go ahead, Janae.
Oh, you can go for it, Will. I think I jumped in.
Yeah, so this one is Mina NFT, which is a platform using for people to be able to create NFTs very easily, just using, I think, text to talk on Telegram, which is really interesting, and then publishing them or recording them on Mina Protocol itself. So this is kind of the first big NFT project that's been funded, and again will require on many other aspects in order to become possible over the next few months, specifically the token standard. So really excited to see DFSTIO team get engaged across the Mina ecosystem and help create the an NFT world on Mina.
All right, and next we have zkSnap. zkSnap is going to be a verifiable on-off-chain DAO voting with ballot privacy using storage proofs. Basically, it's going to allow individuals to cast their votes securely and anonymously. Voting preferences remain confidential, and they're going to be safeguarding your autonomy and protecting against any external influence. It sounds incredible. Congratulations, Raul and Arius Labs.
Fantastic. Okay, so those are the 24 projects that have been funded, and just again, congratulations to everybody who has been funded through Cohort 2. We are really excited to see you start building, and you have high standards to uphold, given Cohort 1, almost all of the projects delivered on the milestones that they set out. So no pressure, but we're gonna make it happen together. And again, we just want to say for those who weren't able to get funding this time, we'd love to talk and figure out if there's other ways to get you involved, whether helping out with other teams or working on other things. That slide, which we'll share afterwards, that slide at the top with all the different programs that are going on, is a testament to how much we need your help. Okay, so I think, Janae, I'm going to turn it over to you. Is that right?
Yes, welcome everyone to the build phase. Could you go to the next slide, please? So the build phase, there are going to be a couple of next steps for our funded projects. On Monday, you will be receiving an email with grant process instructions. The next day, Tuesday, September 12th, we are going to be hosting a grants onboarding session. I also want to add that, like Will mentioned, funded or not funded, there are so many opportunities, and one of those opportunities will be the mentor process, right? And I want to remind everyone that the mentor applications were open, but we're going and closed, but we are going to open them again, and we're going to let them stay open until September 15th. So at 12 Eastern. But basically with the mentor process, we encourage anyone who has gone through this process to apply. All of your skills are valuable. If you've taken the time to learn about the ecosystem, learn about, deep diving into your project, there is probably someone that you could also help. And we want to make sure that you know that the mentor process is definitely, it leans peer-to-peer, and it's something to allow someone to have a guiding hand throughout this journey. So that link to apply for the mentor process will, or to be a mentor, the link to be a mentor will drop later today or in this email that's going to be sent out. And then on September 27th, we will have our official build phase kickoff meeting, and you'll get to meet our mentors. Now, October 4th, pending your KYC completion, you'll receive 100% of your USDC grant. All of this information on this slide, welcome to the build phase. It will be in an email, it will be on Discord. So if you're confused, have questions, want more specifics, stay tuned, and all that information will be yours shortly. Next, we have our Cohort 2 survey. So we've done a lot of things throughout these past couple of months with Cohort 2, and it's important that we don't just, close our laptops, close our computers, and just keep on carrying on. We want to know about your experience. We want to know how we can better support you, how we can provide opportunities for your development, your growth, and make Cohort 3 or any other cohort in the future better. So keep your emails peeled, or keep your eyes peeled on your emails, and also stay tuned on Discord, because we're going to send out a link for you to fill out survey that we're going to have for cohort 2. And just like at the bottom I said, feedback will be used to improve future cohorts within zkIgnite. So it's important that you take the time and give us all the information that you feel comfortable sharing so that we can help improve and better the Mina ecosystem. All right, and next week we will have our community demo with ZOC. This was a project from Cohort 1 led by Santiago. I don't have the date here, but I do know it is going to be Wednesday, September 13th. And there's a link for RSVP, but come by. Santiago will be showcasing his product ZOC, and also answering your questions and wanting to get feedback and kind of keep on building, keep on bringing it forward. So if you're interested, definitely RSVP for that. And earlier this week, we had a our first Cohort 1 community demo led by Mario and Leandro from Social Cap. And this is now live. So if you want to go ahead and check out the recording, yes, the Selena Gomez meme. Be sure to click the link there when we distribute the slides. And like Will has said, and I want to parrot.
Sorry.
Thank you, Cohort 2. Thank you, Cohort 2. It has been an honor to be a part of this. And I am so excited to see where we all go during the next build phase. Yasin, do you have anything you want to add?
I think I want to say there are lots of efforts behind the scenes from, the mentors from Cohort 1, electors. So not everyone's seeing it. I just want to, give the credits to community and everyone who's involved here. So let's keep building together. I think what matters is, again, like staying in the game, staying together. And as any people like discovering this ecosystem is, all people here are like very helpful and welcoming. So just if you have ideas, like if you're crazy, if you dream, you're here, and like we'll keep building together.
Thanks, Yasin. And before we go, I also just want to say thank you to you, Yasin, and to you, Janae, for making this possible and really like running the show. And similar to what Yasin said behind the scenes, there's a lot of kind of effort that goes in just to managing everything and to just righting the ship and keeping us all on track. So massive shout out to Yasin and Janae. And I'd also like to give a shout out to Thomas, who's on the call, Thomas Rostenwood, who is our partner on the platform side. And we've experimented a lot with voting, with scoring, and there's a lot of moving pieces behind the scenes. And so we've been really grateful to Thomas for helping us with that and helping us kind of like make sure that everything works and everything flows. And it's a good experience as well. So yeah, Janae, anything to end with?
Just gonna say big shout out to Will Cove. Thank you for being an amazing leader. Yasin said it first though, so I will I'll +1 him.
Thanks. Yeah, cool. All right, well, everyone stay tuned to the Discord. We're going to post the results and also post the video as soon as it uploads in a bit. And we'll talk to you very soon. Have a good rest of your day.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, all. Bye.
Thanks.